Are you looking to make more money, have more freedom and flexibility in your life? Or are you just sick and tired of working for somebody else? In 2020, there was a 27% increase in business applications than in 2019. So believe it or not, now could actually be the best time for you to finally quit your job, become an entrepreneur, and that's exactly what we're gonna talk about in this video, so make sure you stick around. If you're new here, my name is Tariq Johnson. I gave up a high six-figure job to pursue my dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. I went up building a multi-million-dollar franchise business in the process, and now I coach professionals on how to make a powerful transition into entrepreneurship. Now, I invite you to join the community and subscribe. We've hit over 2,000 subscribers, which is incredibly exciting. So this is where I go over the strategy in business, money, and mindset that you need to go from employee to entrepreneur. So let's jump in. Let's talk about number one, which is you have to have a strategy. A strategy, a plan, whatever it is that you want to call it. This seems obvious, but not really. There are some people that just aren't good at planning, and they're not good at putting together a strategy or initial plan, or they start overthinking it, or they just get too emotional. And one day they're like fed up at work and they're like, that's it, I'm out of here, I'm leaving, I quit. And they have no strategy and they have no plan on what they're gonna do and how to make the transition. So in order for you to quit your job and make a powerful transition, you need a strategy. And ideally, you need a good strategy. When I was making as much as $35,000 a month as a financial advisor, it became bittersweet because in that moment, I started to realize how hard it was actually going to be to eventually make this transition into entrepreneurship, which had been my lifelong dream. It had been what I wanted to do, which was be an entrepreneur. And all of a sudden, the corporate handcuffs start coming in because you start making that kind of money, it's really hard and really challenging. And you know, it's interesting on both sides of the equation, right? When individuals are in a challenging financial situation, it makes it hard to make the transition. But when you're making really good money and you're making high six figures and you're living a good life, that also makes it really hard too, because it becomes hard to leave that security of making money in the future of it. So this was when I pitched my wife on the idea of us doing a business together and looking at franchise opportunities, because I knew that at some point I wanted to transition out of my job. I was really restricted because of the investment licenses that I had. As an example, I could not have made these videos with the investment licenses being held at a company and working for someone else. And so I thought, wow, if we open up a franchise and we're able to build up a revenue stream, I was trying to think about 2, 3, 4 years in advance. So my plan and strategy was to keep crushing it at work, making as much money as I could, saving and investing that money, and then open up a franchise business to be able to build up an income stream and then possibly open up more locations so that once I decided to make the leap, although it was unlikely that I'd have all of my income replaced, at least I would have enough replaced where it made the transition easier and the burden wasn't all on my wife to carry our financial situation. So it's so key for you to create a plan. If you need help with this, I actually created a 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. It's totally free. That's the great part about it. It's my gift to you. You can get it at my website, tariqjohnson.com. I'll leave a link in the description below and you can go there. This blueprint is very, very powerful. It was the framework that I used to get our first franchise business doing over $30,000 a month in sales, our second month in business, and being profitable in less than 60 days. So make sure you grab it and use that. It's jam-packed full of value. It's a 28-page PDF, so make sure you get it. Let's talk through that strategy though a little bit. So the first thing is, what is your time frame? Like, when do you want to make the transition and become an entrepreneur? And then let's think about it this way. How much money are you making now? How much money do you need to make as an entrepreneur? So as an example, if you're making $75,000 a year, but you know that you would be able to make it after reviewing your income and your expenses, that you'd be able to make it with only $50,000 a year, well, now you know that you don't have to replace your $75,000 a year income right then. You just need to make $50,000 a year. So what does the strategy become at that point? Are you going to start doing something part-time and building that up while you're currently working so that you can have an income stream going once you do make the transition? Or after reviewing your finances, are you in a position and do you have a game plan and what type of business that you're looking to start, and you know that you have clients that would work with you and you've got a nice cushion of 6 months or a year or 2 years or maybe even more than that in your assets, and so maybe you go, well, I'm willing to take the leap because I've got a year or 2 years worth of expenses, and I'm just going to go all in from the beginning, give it a shot, and we'll see what happens. And if I start to deplete my money after 6 months, or if I don't make this much amount of money after 3 or 6 months, then I'll go back and get a job. There's no way to do it. Like in this video, it's not about telling you what strategy you should use. It's that you should figure out a strategy that works for you and your situation. And this is something that I go over a lot with my clients. So I analyze their financial situation. I help them get really clear on what it is that they want to create in their life, financially, family, lifestyle. So we start with that vision first, and then we base the strategy off of that vision. Because if you just start creating a strategy without knowing what it is that you're trying to create in the future, you're basing a plan that may not be in alignment with your goals and what your vision is and what you want to create in your life. So the most important part about this strategy and this plan is that you write it out. You need to document it. Don't leave it in your head. That does not work. This has to be written out. And what I would recommend is that you do at least 3 revisions. Lay out your initial strategy. That could just be like a brainstorm and a brain dump of you just putting your ideas on paper, and then go through 2 more times over a series of a couple of days and add some revisions to it. All right, so once you have your strategy and your plan, you've got to start taking action. Look, at the end of the day, the best strategy, the best plan, every detail could be perfect. If you don't actually take action and implement the plan, it means nothing. You have to take action on your plan. Let me say this again. You have to take action on your plan, especially you analytical people, right? You guys start getting caught up at the plan and trying to figure out every single detail. You will gain clarity through action, okay? So as you have your initial plan and then you start taking little actions, you will develop more and more clarity and you'll revise your plan as you take action. So the actions that you're taking, one is you're setting up goals. What's your 12-month income goal? Then chunk it down into quarters, chunk it down into months, and then chunk it down into weekly and daily goals, and as well as tasks and activities. So in order for you to make that $50,000 a year in your business, what actions do you need to take on a daily and weekly basis that's going to move you forward? Make sure you're focusing on the revenue generating activities. It's easy to be shuffling papers and organizing and planning and not actually making any progress. You feel like you're working, but you're actually not moving the ball down the field. It's like you're just running side to side, from sideline to sideline. So you're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not actually moving the ball down the field. And so part of the actions that you take in the beginning might be associated to your strategy and your plan. Maybe your actions is that you're going to research on a daily basis 1 to 2 opportunities based on your skill sets that you've written down on how you could create additional income stream. Maybe you consult, maybe you teach online, maybe you babysit. I mean, there's all sorts of options that you can do. Maybe you drive Uber or Lyft. Like there's all sorts of things that you can do to start to put yourself in a position. But maybe the first month is that you're researching and you're creating a list of 20 different opportunities. And then maybe later on in that month, you're creating a list of the pros and cons and creating a mini scorecard based on 5 different categories that you associate for every opportunity. So maybe you say, okay, financial opportunity, lifestyle, enjoyment, like those are 3 as an example, and then you score each opportunity based off of that, and then you narrow it down to 3 to 5 opportunities. And then maybe month 3 is narrowing it down and then deciding on one opportunity and then figuring out what your initial game plan is for that next opportunity. And then month 4, as an example, is you actually going out there and taking action and implementing your plan. So number 3 is mindset. So this is the most important one, and here's what I mean about mindset, is that you have to be mentally and emotionally unstoppable. So say it with me. I am unstoppable. The reality is, the biggest challenge that you will face, the biggest hurdle and obstacle in you making the transition from quitting your job as an employee and becoming an entrepreneur and a business owner is you. It's your fear of failing, your fear of the unknown, your uncertainty and your doubts, your insecurity, your fear of if it'll be worth it. What if I lose money? What if I can't get clients? What if people laugh at me or make fun of me? Or what if I leave my job and then I'm never able to get back into something I was doing before? Or what if I hate it? What if it's miserable and I don't like it? So this sort of mindset is what will actually hold you back. And so you can have the best strategy and plan, you could be taking actions, but if you aren't resilient and have that state of confidence, then it's going to be hard to really succeed and move forward. There can be times during this process where the fear and the uncertainty becomes crippling. It becomes crippling and overwhelming where you just feel like you want to give up and you want to stop. And you're just like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I changed my mind. You question if it's worth it. Here's the most important part about that is having your why written down. Writing down your why about why you want to leave your job, why you want to be an entrepreneur. What will that do for you? What will that do for your family? What type of lifestyle will that create? How will you feel about yourself? And really think about your purpose in making the transition. And every time things get hard and you're scared and you're fearful, you have to look back at that why and be able to read that why. I had a lot of attempts at pursuing different businesses and starting businesses, and ultimately many times I lacked the discipline, the follow through. I wasn't showing up powerfully. And for me, my biggest why recently has become our son Caleb, and he's 2 years old now. And, part of my why is that I realize, 1, I want to be able to help create this life and lifestyle for my family where we can go to the beach and work and take time off and not have to make any decisions based off of money, and to create total financial freedom and independence in our life, to be able to give back to the community and to be able to do that in a powerful way. But more importantly for me, I wanted to set the example for my son of what it's like to pursue your dream in life. And I wanted to be a living example. So every time that my alarm would go off at 4 o'clock in the morning, or I'm editing one of these videos at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, or I'm having to work on the weekends like I am right now recording this video, I think about my son. And I think about how worth it it's going to be when we get to live all of the fruits and experience the rewards of that sacrifice and overcoming that fear and overcoming that obstacles. So you want to make sure that you're constantly putting really good stuff in your mind and your brain. Listen to motivational videos, get an accountability partner, do whatever you have to do to make sure that you're set up to be mentally and emotionally unstoppable. Man, if you made it this far, one, congratulations, because that says that you're a finisher. You follow through and you complete and finish the things in your life. And that's exactly what it's going to take to be able to succeed as an entrepreneur. Drop me a comment below and tell me about what your thoughts are about making the transition from employee to entrepreneur. Are there specific things that scare you the most? Are there opportunities as an entrepreneur that are really attractive for you? And ultimately, what's your timeline? Like, when do you feel like you want to make this happen? If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel below. Hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm because it helps show the video to more and more people. And I will see you on the next one.